connecting to cloud automatically. So I guess it's recording to the cloud.
Okay, and it now says record.
Yes.
So you can see, and so it shows recording both as host and co-host, but it's recording to the cloud. So we'll be able to get this later, starting right when you click that.
Oh, good, good.
Now at this point, I also jump over and I do a Facebook share, but you guys are not connected to the RUMC Facebook account yet. Michael's working on that. So we'll have to do that in part 2 of the training. But I'll show you where it is. It's under at the bottom of the screen when you look at more.
Okay, I'm on more. It says pause and stop recording. That's all I see.
Okay. Oh, I know why. You have to be logged in as Pastor Michael.
Ah.
And that was the one thing that you can't do as a co-host. You have to do that. And that's why I now have to log in as Michael instead of as me, is because it only allows you to share, live stream share to Facebook as Pastor Michael. And logged into Zoom as Pastor Michael.
So Frank should see that on his computer.
Did you log in as Pastor Michael, Frank?
And I would have done that by doing what?
When you logged in on your computer,
right,
to Zoom, did you log in as Frank or did you log in as Pastor Michael and put in the Zoom password of RUMC06853?
Well, I didn't see anything about my name or his name, but when I clicked it, the name thing the first time, it went to a request for the password, and then I put in 195.421 and I was on. Is that logging in as Michael?
No, that's just logging into this channel.
Okay.
So you are still on as Frank or whatever the last login that you were on.
Okay.
Do you want, I think I can see the buttons enough that if you leave and go in, I could guide you to log in as Pastor Michael. I think that was going to bump Bob off of being co-host though, because I think if there are 2 Pastor Michaels, you can only have 1 co-host. So it may usurp.
Would you like me to log off my other computer and we just go step by step and come in?
Would that be helpful, Bob, or should we proceed through the service? We can't do Facebook right now anyway.
Yeah,
so I'm just
move to the service because, as you say, it's
sure.
Okay, so
it'll be a second session for that probably.
We'll do that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a couple sessions. It's taken me a long time to figure all of this out, so I don't expect you guys to get it in one shot. So in that, you are now recording John, and oh, I forgot a step. We forgot to spotlight John.
Ah, okay.
So, and I've accidentally forgotten to spotlight him before I started recording. And what that does is it starts recording and you can see everybody and the gallery shot. And then you see a little John doing his music. So what you really want is it to be the full screen of John doing his intro music. It's not the end of the world if you do it out of order. I've certainly done it. But it's a slightly better if you remind John to unmute himself, announce you're muting everyone. John unmutes himself, you spotlight John, he starts playing and you hit record. Sometimes John will actually wait. He looks at his screen, and when he sees himself spotlighted, he realizes that's his cue to start. So that's actually been very helpful where I spotlight him and he begins playing.
Got it. That's a good idea.
Okay. So he will play for, his about till 1 minute after 10. And at that point, Michael's in his place. I can see him on my participant list. You can actually see, even though John will be spotlit, at the very top of your screen, in fact, you can see it on Frank's screen, all of the little smaller pictures of the rest of the participants. Those are not going to be recorded. So when you're in your recording, it'll just have what you spotlight. So I will look to see, if Michael's getting himself ready and, or he's not quite in his spot. I'll wait till he's in his spot. And then when he is all ready, John's music starts to slow down. And right when it, is a nice transition to Michael, I'll go over, and it's, I believe it's called Replace Spotlight. So you have Frank's computer on Spotlight right now. Why don't you replace Frank's computer with me?
Okay. Well, actually, so you want me to spotlight you, right?
Yep, you just spotlight yourself though.
Oh, because you're Michael Cobb?
No, wait a minute. I'm confused. Let's see.
Let's see
I'm
what
talking, so I'm spotlighted automatically.
because you're talking.
Let's see.
Did you remove Spotlight or did you replace Spotlight? Because you don't actually have to remove a spotlight before you spotlight someone else. You can go to the person you want to replace that spotlight with and just hit, let's see. It's a little different. Spotlight for everyone. So I'm going to spotlight for everyone, Frank. And now, okay. So now you removed a spotlight, but you didn't select a spotlight. So what I want you to do now is go do the more for me and see what all your options are.
Okay, for you, it's stop video, add spotlight, remove spotlight, replace spotlight.
Okay, so replace spotlight is what you want to transition from one person to another. So you always go to the person you want to go to, and you replace spotlight, because otherwise you have to remove a spotlight and then spotlight, and that's an extra step you don't need.
All right, so I'm going to
You only use the remove a spotlight if you want to remove all spotlight and you want everybody to see gallery mode, and you don't want any one person to be spotlit.
Then we can add a spotlight for Frank.
Yep, you can add a spotlight. And then there's two, and now, wow, there's two of me now. Woo, woo. Oh.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so let's pretend that I am John and I'm playing the piano. So you just want me on the screen right now. Do, 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 do. I'm John playing.
So
Do, 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 do.
Frank.
And I am finishing up, and Frank is Michael. So I want you to now spotlight Michael. Do, 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 do.
And
Okay,
replace spotlight.
I'm going to replace the spotlight for Frank, or just add for
No.
you?
No, replace spotlight.
You got it, Deb. Replace spotlight.
Replace spotlight. Okay.
There you go. Except you replaced it with you instead of Frank.
Where is it?
No, I don't see it.
I want to see replace spotlight.
Oh,
Always.
okay. Well, if you remove my spotlight, then there will not be a replace because you've already removed me. But what I'm saying is you do not need to remove a spotlight on me
Okay,
before you replace. So you can go, if someone's being spotlit, go to your participant list.
yep.
And okay, is anybody spotlit right now though? I don't think anybody's spotlit.
Can you tell
So-
from the participant list directly if anyone is spotlit? Go in and actually select the name.
No, it's usually because it'll just pull the people that are talking. So if you put it in gallery mode, you'll see that nobody's spotlit.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, just look to see whether there's any band around the picture, right?
What about putting Shannon back on spotlight and trying it?
Yeah. So you guys start with putting me on spotlight. I'm John. Do, 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 do. Ba, 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 da,
No,
ba,
I
ba, ba, da.
don't seem to have that option. I
Oh.
have,
Spotlight for everyone.
I have.
Yeah, spotlight for everybody is if nobody's spotlit, you'll have the only option you have is spotlight for everybody.
Okay.
Right.
So now that I'm here, if you look at your participant list, always keep your participant list open, and go to next to one Frank and look.
Yeah, and then see if
Yeah.
there's
And see if replace.
there you
Yep,
go.
there's
There you go.
replace.
Right. So it only gives you the options that you have at your disposal at that moment. So if I wasn't up there as spotlight, you're not going to have a replace spotlight option because you're not replacing anything. You're just spotlighting for everyone. So you don't always have the same options for you. It puts up the options that are available to you at that moment.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so Frank just gave a wonderful sermon. Thank you, Frank. And now we have a moment of music. Oh, back to John. Okay, so we have to go back to me. Do, 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 do.
Okay, so I want to remove the spotlight from Frank.
Nope, you didn't have to remove.
You do.
Okay.
You keep them on there and then you replace the spotlight.
Yes. Okay, so now that you've removed, though, you're not going to have the replace option anymore.
Okay, now I'm going to add a spotlight for you.
Okay, so so you only use add if you want two on the screen at the same time. So let me give you your options for spotlighting. Spotlight for everyone. Spotlight for everyone is used when nobody is spotlit at that moment, and you want to spotlight somebody for the first time.
Okay.
The next option you have is replace spotlight. Replace spotlight is used when you have someone spotlit on the screen and you want to replace them with somebody else.
Okay.
The other is add spotlight.
Right.
Add spotlight is if you want multiple people spotlit on the screen. And I haven't seen a limit to that. So, most common is for the children's moment where I spotlight Michael and then I'll try to add the kids that I see.
Got it. Yeah, sure. Right.
And then the last one is remove spotlight.
Which is
Remove-
self-explanatory, right?
Well, it is and it isn't. Remove spotlight, you only want to use if you want to go to gallery mode and you want people to see everyone.
Okay.
So never use remove spotlight unless you want to go to gallery mode. So if you
Okay.
put like big notes, do not use this. And the reason the spots in the service that you would use remove spotlight are during the passing of the peace and the prayers of the people.
Okay.
That's those are the only two. Well, I should also say at the very end, after you stop recording at the end of the service, when people during the happy hour, it's not really happy hour, is it? Coffee hour.
Yeah. It's
After
right.
John plays
Right.
at the end.
Right. After John plays. Very good. Deb, we're going to have to make you co-host.
He's already my backup co-host.
All right. So where are we in the service? So we've gotten the service set up. We have muted everybody. We made sure John was unmuted, and then we spotlight John. He begins playing and we hit record. It's 1 minute after, and we replace the spotlight to Michael.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now on the screen, you have, you tell me, what setup is on the screen now? Is it spotlight, add spotlight, replace spotlight, or remove spotlight?
Let's see.
You had
How
two.
many? Mhm. Go ahead, Deb.
You're highlighted right now, and you're set up so I can remove spotlight from you.
Mhm.
And Frank is, I can remove the spotlight from him as well.
Right. So you have add spotlight. So you had one of us up and you added another. So there's two people that you have spotlit on the Zoom.
Right, right,
So you can choose to remove one of us.
right.
So go ahead and remove one of us.
Okay, I'll remove you from the spotlight.
Okay. Whoa.
You like that?
Yeah. We're going to pretend that Frank is the pastor and I'm John. So Pastor Michael is speaking. He looks very surreal. And he just says, now I'd like you to take a moment to sing a song with John. John. So John is waiting now to be spotlit so that he can begin playing.
Okay, and
So which of the spotlight options are you going to use?
Replace spotlight?
You got it, Deb. Woohoo! A+. And you do that by finding, I'm John, but it says Shannon. I should change my name to John, but Shannon's going to play you a lovely song on the piano. So now you have to go to on the participant list, you go to Shannon. You got it. Yay.
good.
And then I begin playing. And I'm now at the end of the song, and we need to go back to Frank to give a lovely sermon.
So we replace
Yep.
to John, right, to Frank, right.
Frank. Okay, Frank's about to do a children's moment. I'm Frankie. I'm Frankie. You gotta so he says, and now let's see if there's any kids on the call. And we want to put now what do we use? What kind of spotlight do you use if you want Frankie and Michael or Frankie and Frank up on the screen?
I think we want to add a spotlight.
You got it. Okay. Go ahead and add me as Frankie. Hi. Hi.
There we go.
Yay! All right, children's moment just ended, and Michael needs to do, I don't know, some prayer after the children's moment. So it needs to go back to Michael now, just Michael.
Who's going to be Michael?
Frank is Michael.
Well, Frank, okay, good. So we can then remove.
Sorry, I should just say Frank. Frank's doing some prayer now that the children's moment is done. So which one are you going to do? This one is actually, I lied. I said the only time you do remove is when you want the gallery mode. It also you use remove when you have multiple people spotlit and you want to take one of them off.
Okay, because that's the only option anyway. So that would have been my guess. All right,
Yes.
I removed the spotlight, and I did it.
Of course, you removed Frank and not me, but that's okay.
Okay.
Frank was the one that was giving the prayer next.
So how do you get back to Frank?
Okay, now I removed you as well.
Okay, what I would have done instead, like if you realize you highlighted the wrong person, you would, instead of replace, you would just, instead of remove, you go to replace. So that would be the quickest way to replace them with the correct person.
Okay.
And I've done that sometimes, like as people come in and out of the meeting, you are all set to spotlight somebody. and then someone comes in above them and bumps them down in the list, and you end up spotlighting the wrong person. That's happened to me. And so if that happens, and then, and then all of a sudden they're like going, whoa, why am I on the screen? And you have to find the correct person really quick and do replace spotlight. So you really wanted Frank. So you would just go into Frank and do a quick replace spotlight.
Okay. But there's no option for replace on Frank right now.
Oh, because you removed, that's right.
Yeah.
So nobody's spotlight right now. So you can spotlight for everyone.
Okay. Everyone spotlight.
And go to Frank.
Yeah, you spotlight me instead of Frank.
Okay.
It's-
And then you go to replace.
And I can do Frank.
There you go.
Okay. Why does that screen look like it's recursive?
Because he's got one screen aimed at the other.
Wow.
So whenever it's somebody else, it's okay. But when it goes to that screen, it's taking a picture of itself, basically.
Wow. Yeah.
Which gives an infinity image.
You have now seen infinity.
That's right.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay.
Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna give you a couple other now, just to make you feel a little bit better. There's a lot more time between when things happen than what I'm giving you. And so what I usually do, it's not very good for listening to the Holy Spirit, but I will actually look at the bulletin and I'll look at my next step while he's doing that step. So while John's playing, I look to see what is my next transition. And I go, oh, my next transition's to Michael. And I'll put my cursor up where it's going to need to be. And I already have in my mind, I need to spotlight him or replace spotlight. And you can, when I first started, I actually wrote all the steps in every place on my sheet of paper, the bulletin. I would say, replace spotlight, unmute so-and-so, mute this person, because I needed to remember the process. Now I've done it so many times, it's like more natural for me.
Sure.
But when I first started, I had to write every step down. So it took me a little longer. I started a little earlier in the morning, and just so that I remembered, the muting and unmuting. Michael and I came up with an agreement that for him, he would be responsible for muting and unmuting himself. And then Zoom actually sometimes makes changes. When we first started, I could mute and unmute people. Now it only allows the person to unmute themselves. So I think I can override it, in which case there are instances where I have to give the person permission to unmute. Like if I muted them, then they can unmute themselves. So there are some instances like that still, but I can't quite figure out when it allows it and when it doesn't. So when you're on the participant list, mine looks a little bit different, but when you roll over the names, it should, have that option to mute. Actually, let me, I'm the host. Frank, could you mute yourself? And I want to see what Bob sees when you mute yourself. Okay.
I see Frank just muted himself.
Okay. So, right. And so as one of the options, does it say unmute or does it say ask to unmute?
My options are, let's see, on the more, I don't have anything about muting on the more. And down below the participant list, all I have is a mute all. Let's see, I have some more options down here.
No, it should be right next to Frank. You should have ask to unmute.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Ask to unmute.
There's an
Yes.
ask to unmute. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, sometimes in rare instances, and I cannot I cannot say why it happens. Sometimes that just says unmute. If it says unmute, then you have the power to unmute them, and they may not have the power to unmute themselves. But 99% of the time now, the only option you have is ask to unmute. Sometimes I'll use that to make it easier for people, because like if someone has to speak and I'm worried that they're not going to be able to find their unmute, or they're not going to recognize the unmute, how to do it in time to start talking, I'll hit that ask to unmute button. So go ahead and hit the ask to unmute button for Frank.
Okay, done.
All right. And then when Frank should get a notice that he's been requested to unmute. And Frank, if you can click that unmute. Okay. Frank, did you get a message that said unmute?
I didn't. I might have. I didn't see it, but I might have.
Okay. That's very typical, is depending on people's screens. It usually has like a pop-up that says, so-and-so requested to unmute you. I've used that sometimes with Brandy and Bill. They're usually pretty good, but every now and then they'll forget. And they usually will unmute themselves, 20 seconds, 30 seconds before they need to start playing. And if I see that they haven't unmuted themselves and it looks like, Bill's setting up, like settling in, because he has to actually get up to unmute himself, I'll hit that request to unmute button just to kind of, and he usually will see it. And that, I think, is helpful, just kind of keeping things going a little smoothly, since you don't have control over other people's muting and unmuting. And it's very common for people to get on and start talking, doing the liturgy reading or a music piece, and they're still muted. And so you just want to reduce that as much as possible.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. I'm just thinking about the service. Okay. So Michael is now about to do the passing of the peace. What do you do during the passing of the peace in order for everybody to see everybody?
The other thing is, I don't know how much you need to know this, but I'll tell you.
Am I frozen?
No, we hear you.
Oh, okay. Is Bob frozen?
Because 50 years ago,
Oh, we might have
It's
lost.
hard to. Oh,
there he's back.
There you go.
I think you were frozen for a second there, Bob.
Okay. Passing of the peace, we want to remove the spotlight and go to gallery mode.
Yes. Okay, so go ahead.
Let's see.
Oh, we should have a conversation then. But I believe that
Gallery
you're
mode.
looking at demographic shifts.
So am I on gallery mode? Oh, okay, good.
Shannon, at the end of this, if you had time, what if you had? You might have to do it. I'm guessing that sign me in as the leader, and then we could go as all the things are done. We could see them on this screen.
Super. Yeah, I was actually about to switch over to you, but I didn't know how long Bob's hotspot was going to last, so I just wanted to make sure that I had him go first.
Yeah.
So I don't have a timetable as long as you guys are still able to stay on.
Well, we're good here.
Okay, so you did gallery mode just perfectly. And then Michael, you know how he says, okay, there's no more prayers. Oh no, did we be passing of the peace? Okay, and then he pulls everybody and then he goes back to his own thing. I forget what's next, but your bulletin would tell you. I think it's a prayer. it's a good guess. We're pretending that Frank is our pastor. So Pastor Frank, can you hot spotlight Pastor Frank now? And do you remember which spotlight it is? When nobody's spotlit?
Let's see, there's nobody spotlit right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I
we
guess
want to,
spotlight for everybody?
yep. And we're going to spotlight Pastor Frank. Perfect. And then I'm going to do, we have to go to music now. He introduces the next hymn, and I'm the musician, and you need to spotlight the musician.
Are you the musician?
I'm the musician.
Okay, then I'm going to add a spotlight to the musician, you.
Nope.
Come on.
So now if you do this, you can remove Frank now and it'll just be me. But you removed me.
I'm going to remove Frank, and now I'm going to go back to you. And I can't add the spotlight for you.
It should be replace spotlight.
I don't have that option for you.
Oh, because you removed everybody's spotlight. That's why. Okay, so it should be spotlight for everyone?
Okay, that I can do.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, I just finished playing. It has to go back to Pastor Frank.
Okay, Pastor Frank is Frank, right?
Right.
So replace
And it's
spotlight for Frank.
replace. There you go. So most of the service, it's going to be when you go between Michael and John and the liturgist is going to be replace.
Ah, okay.
So it's just when you go to, when you remove spotlight for everyone to do the passing of the peace, and after that you spotlight for everyone because no one's spotlit. So you'll get this. You just have to practice it a bunch of times.
Well, I'll probably have to write it down a little bit too.
I think so. I think the next time we do this, what I think what I'm going to have you do is we're going to go through the whole service.
Good.
And we'll have the bulletin in front of us. So maybe this weekend service, we'll use that bulletin. So if you can print off that bulletin on Sunday.
Sure.
And what I'd like you to do is write down on it what the steps would be.
Okay, good. Homework assignment. Right.
Exactly. All right. Are you ready to let Frank take the reins a little?
Oh, sure. Anytime.
The pressure was on there. Assign co-host. To make Frank. Oh, look at this. Zoom has allowed us to change the co-host. I mean, to have more than one co-host. This is new. They only used to do one. So Frank, I think I did the wrong you though. I think we wanted to make the computer the host, right? Oh, you are on mute. I'm asking to unmute you, Frank.
So these are all the things that I'm gonna have to think about, pray about, talk about.
Frank, you there?
But that's my knee-jerk reaction.
There you are. I see you. You just have to unmute yourself.
Let's find ways to connect you with the half-dozen congregations that I'm close to.
Unmute.
All right. Oh, I think I accidentally muted you again, Frank. I pushed the ask to unmute button just as you unmuted yourself.
Okay, I'm back, I think.
Okay.
You're back.
And that can be a comical exchange that you have if you're trying to unmute somebody and they're trying to unmute them and you both cross paths. Just like I think I muted you at the very second that you hit unmute. So I made you co-host, and I think what we want to do is you wanted to do it on the computer. So I think I need to make the computer co-host.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to, I don't know if I can unmake you the co-host.
What's the next step as far as you?
Huh. apparently I can make everybody co-host. Look at that. That's
Okay,
a
I
new,
see all kinds of stuff now.
yeah. So that's a new feature, allowing multiple people to be co-hosts. That's kind of exciting. All right. So, okay. So now, Frank, you are in charge, and Bob is Pastor Bob. Well, it's Pastor Bob and Debbie. Congratulations. They're about to give a sermon, and so we need to spotlight Debbie and Bob.
Okay, this is for me here now.
Oh, yes. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is to put on your participant list. So click on participants down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So you always want to have that screen just the way you see it there, so that
You bet.
you constantly see who's in the meeting. Now, when it goes to like 35 people on the right there, sometimes you have to scroll up and down occasionally just to make sure everything looks in order. But for the
Okay.
most part, people who are unmuted or on video will be at the top. So let us start with, you need to spotlight Debbie and Bob. So you scroll over their name, and I believe I can't see on your screen, but I think there's a button that says more to the
Says-
right.
Yes.
Okay,
I'll
so,
click that.
yep,
Spotlight.
yep,
Spotlight video.
you could spotlight for everyone.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so you did a great job. Now I'm going to play a musical piece, and you have to spotlight me, and you're going to go directly to spotlight me. So go to me, and you're going to replace spotlight. What did you just do?
Oh, I just I put spotlight video, and I got you.
Okay, on mine it's not showing a
Well,
spotlight.
hang on, just
I'm afraid you're a
I'll
little.
be right back. Be right back.
Okay. All right. So Bob, I don't know where Frank went, but we'll just practice with you until he gets back. You need to, I don't know if any of us are spotlight lit right now. It's hard to tell. Do you want to spotlight me? I'm going to play music.
I think you are spotlit at this point. I've got there's a boundary around your.
Yeah, that just means I'm speaking.
Okay, but on the lower left, there's a little icon next to your name. Does that mean you're spotlit?
When you click on my my image, the option pops up, remove spotlight. So that means I am spotlit. Okay, good.
I don't see you remove spotlight.
You know what? I'm on an iPad. It looks a little different.
Oh, okay. If I do a right click, I get some options, and one is remove spotlight. Yes.
Yeah. So that it shows me that I'm actually spotlit. Interesting how it shows you can override it to be in gallery mode even with a spotlight. But remember that the recording isn't always precisely what you see on the screen. If you spotlight somebody, it will be recording just that person.
Okay, I just removed your spotlight, and that little icon next to your name on the lower left-hand side went away. So that's apparently on a laptop and a Windows system. How it works. Maybe.
Okay, can you spotlight me again? I'm going to see if it pops up if I get an icon on the iPad. Oops.
I have to go to spotlight for everybody.
Yep.
I'll do that right now. I did.
Yeah, I don't get a nice little icon. That's. Oh, I see the little pin.
Yeah, the little pin thing.
Yes, I see it now. Okay, it wasn't on the participant list. It's on the bottom of my image. Okay, awesome. See, I learned something new, Bob. Thank you.
Likewise, I did also.
Somewhere around like the, I don't know, like that.
All right, so it looks like we might have lost, I think we lost Frank's other self.
Yeah, he won. Who knows? Well, in any case, the sequence, we did the sermon, we got past the sermon.
Mhm.
But what about the readings?
Okay, so in the very beginning, remember you put the number 1 in front of all of the people who are participating in the service. So you probably will have whoever, you find out from Michael ahead of time who the liturgist is. And then you will be able to find them usually quickly on your platform because you have the number 1 next to their name.
Gotcha.
And then you'll be able to spotlight them. Now, Michael always introduces them with, he usually will have them do the prayer of illumination, but sometimes they don't want to do the prayer of illumination. So sometimes Michael will do the prayer of illumination. Usually he'll tell me in advance, or that's one of the things he's really good at giving a good cue for, or he'll say, well, I'll say the prayer of illumination, and then we're going to go to our liturgist. And so, just because he said it out loud, what the order of operation is. But sometimes he'll tell me in advance and just say, Brian Bird's going to do the reading today, and he's going to do the prayer of illumination. So in that case, usually it's Michael that's on the screen.
Okay.
I think this is one of those sequences that I think is like there's music, and then there's quickly Michael, and he introduces who's doing the prayer of illumination, and he'll introduce the liturgist. If we were in the church, it goes straight from the music to the liturgist, and the liturgist just knows to walk up to the front of the church after the song and start. But because we're online, I generally will go to Michael between John and the liturgist.
Okay.
And that's, just because with the online, people don't always know whether they're doing the prayer of illumination or not.
Right.
So between those, you end up doing like kind of a quick replace spotlight to Michael, and then you replace spotlight to the liturgist.
Sorry, guys, my computer ran out of battery power and I didn't have the charger at the handy, so I'm back.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Glad you're back, Frank.
All right. So we're going to do that sequence, and we're going to have Frank be our AV for that sequence. So I am going to be the musician again, and I am playing my music now. And the next thing up is the prayer of illumination and the liturgist. But Frank, what I was just saying is that on Zoom, we tend to go to Michael between, because sometimes the liturgist knows to do the prayer of illumination and sometimes not. So I just let Michael introduce the person that's doing the liturgy, the reading that day. So we go from me to, we're going to make it Pastor Bob, who will introduce the liturgist.
Okay.
So Bob.
So you don't want to remove spotlight on me. What you want to do is to replace spotlight, going to your participant list, Debbie and Bob, more, replace spotlight.
Okay, does that look good?
Wait a minute.
No, I'm still pinned.
Did Frank do that already?
I did.
Oh, Frank did it. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you wanted me to do it.
Yeah, sure.
Shannon.
Okay. Was standing in for you while you found your charger, but I'm
Yeah, no.
sidelines now.
Well,
So did that look good, Shannon?
Oh, it does look good. For some reason on iPads, it sometimes messes up a little. So I'm not quite sure. Let me see. It just has just a totally different display. So I'm having a hard time seeing who's pinned. How strange.
Looks like I'm pinned right now. I'm
Okay.
Pastor Bob.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, mine is still saying that I have the little pin that I'm pinned. So I'm going to go by looking at your screen, Frank, that Pastor's pinned. Mine's all messed up.
Pastor
Okay.
Bob.
Pastor Bob is speaking, and he is about to introduce the liturgist, and we're going to make the 1954-21 owner the liturgist today. So your other Frank.
Okay.
So
let's
now
do this.
so do you do replace, remove, or add?
Mine just says, my list says chat, stop video, spotlight video. And I had, right up till now, I've used spotlight video to change.
Right. Okay. So it should be replace. Oh, now it went.
Yeah, the terminology, I guess, on mine is different. It just says spotlight video. It doesn't say replace or anything like that.
So spotlight video is usually when nobody has been spotlit. I'm just wondering if, because we have multiple co-hosts, if it's messing things up. I'm removing spotlight on everybody.
Okay.
So right now, nobody should be spotlit. So let's just start fresh with you, Frank. I wonder if I can remove the co-host.
Because you're spotlit now for us.
That was only because I was talking. You're in.
Okay. All right.
But I'm not actually spotlit. So when you go select anybody on your participant list, the only option should be spotlight for everyone.
Yeah, mine, when I click the camera on the right side, it gives me 6 choices. Chat, stop video, spotlight video, rename, put in waiting room, or remove.
Okay, I think that's different. Click on the name of the person.
Rename. Well, that would probably just change the title, I would guess.
Okay, hold on. Let me get out of this so I can see. Are you on your computer doing this, or on
yeah,
your
I'm on the computer that you see, under
Okay.
my name.
I can't quite. It's a little blurry, so I can't quite see the drop downs.
Let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm messing things up there.
Yeah, well, it's bright on the side there, so I'm just so the options you should have are mute, chat, spotlight for everyone, make host, stop video. Oh, you can't, not the make host one. Stop video. Oh, I do have withdraw co-host permission. You know what? Let me do that to you, Bob. I'm withdrawing your co-host just to see if that's what's messing this up a little bit. So your options probably just went away, Bob.
Yes, they did.
Okay. All right. Let's see if that helps, Frank.
Okay, I'll go up here. Yeah, when I click the little camera icon on the right side of the participants list, I get 6 items: chat, stop video, spotlight video, rename, put in waiting room, or remove. So just
it
different.
says spotlight video. It doesn't say spotlight for everyone.
No, each time that I have changed it, the spotlight, that's the thing that I selected was spotlight video, and then it changed.
Do you have the most updated Zoom software on your computer? I think you might. You might have an older version.
That could very well be that on my laptop I may have it, but on my desktop, good chance that I do not.
Okay, I think that might be the issue, because I think I do recall that that's what it used to be called.
Okay.
And when they started the ad spotlight and the other options, I think they updated that.
I'll, after we're finished, I'll go and update it so that I've got the same thing.
Okay, you think you have the updated one on your laptop?
I think so.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm withdrawing your co-host, and I'm going to make you co-host
Okay.
on there. And let's
That's,
see if that,
should. Okay, let's see what happens here.
so put up your participant list.
Let's see. How do I? Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Da 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 da. Let's see.
Oh, you
Come
have your
on.
own theme music.
Okay, I got my participants list up, and then we go over to like Deb and Bob, and now
Should be
it
like
says,
more.
stop video, spotlight for everyone, allow
There
to
you go.
multi-pin. Okay,
Spotlight for everyone. Yes. I think just update your Zoom on your other computer, and that will update the terminology and give you some
yeah.
more options.
I won't be
Do-
using that for anything. That was just for the purpose of this. I'll be using
Mhm.
this laptop. So,
Okay.
oh yeah, this is great. Okay, now okay. So then, let's see. Just if you want, just run through a couple quick scenarios,
Okay.
and I'll see if I get it right.
All right. John is about to play, or Shannon is about to play music, and you need to spotlight me. Is anybody spotlight at this point?
On my
don't think so.
computer, you are, and when I go to you, Shannon, on more, I get stop video, spotlight for everyone, or report.
Spotlight for everyone is the option when nobody is spotlight at that moment and you want to spotlight them. So just because somebody is full screen, that could just be speaker view, which means that the person who's speaking is biggest on your screen.
Okay.
That is controlled by each user. So that's not a control center kind of thing. You can't control how people set up their computers. They may have it on gallery mode. They may have it on speaker mode. But what you are going to try to do is override, when you put it spotlight for everyone, you're kind of overriding and putting that person regardless of whether they're talking or not.
Okay, here I go. Spotlight for everyone.
Yep. Oh, and then I'm spotlight, so I'm going to play beautiful music. Da, 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 da. And I am finishing the last verse, and you are going to spotlight Pastor Debbie and Bob to do a lovely prayer.
Let's see. Replace spotlight, correct?
Yes. All right. Very good.
Right.
So
Peace be with
replace. Pardon?
Peace be with you all. I'm done.
A lovely prayer. And they did a lovely prayer, and it's time for music again. And I'm waiting to be spotlit so I can start my music. Okay, now I'm going to play my music. Okay, and now we're about to go to children's moment, and Bob is going to do the children's moment. I finish up my music, the last little ding, ding, ding fades into the background.
Okay.
And there you go.
We're both spotlighted.
Yeah, so now Bob is back to spotlight. Now, little Frankie is there, and we want to add Frankie to the page. Now, we're going to pretend like your computer, Frank, is Frankie.
Okay.
So 1954 owner, I'm just going to rename that. Oops. Rename.
And well, this one doesn't have a camera, so I can't. I'll just pick another one. I'll pick you again for that exercise, because that other computer I can't go there because it doesn't have a camera. So.
Yeah,
it won't let you go. Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm
wouldn't we
going
still get the highlight, Shannon, around it, even without a camera?
It may not let you spotlight them. Sometimes it depends, because this one's set up where it doesn't have a camera. It will let you spotlight them if they just have their computer off. I keep trying to type.
It has no options to do that. It just says you can't because there's nothing to select. So
okay, I just renamed your computer back to your computer.
Okay.
So the difference is, yeah, if you look to the right of Frank's computer, what I just named as Frank's computer, you can see it doesn't have the video or the mic attached to it.
Right, right.
So in cases like that, you can't spotlight. Now, it could be that you have somebody that just has their video off. So I will turn my video off. I will try to turn my video off so you can see what that looks like. You see how on your participant list, it has a line through my video.
Yes.
You can still spotlight me. So go ahead and, am I already spotlit?
Uh,
I think you are, yes.
yes,
Okay.
yes, I think so. I mean, I don't see you, but
Yeah.
to get rid of that X through your camera,
I have to do that. You have
you have
no
to do that.
control, right? You have no
Gotcha.
control over that. So, so in this case, I'm going to be little Frankie. So Bob is Pastor Bob. So you want to put Bob up on the screen. He's about to introduce the children's moment. And I'm going to be little Frankie. I am little Frankie. Hi. And Bob says, okay, are there any kids out there? And what you want to do is you want to add my Frankie to the screen. So you can see both Pastor Michael and me. Yay. Excellent. I look like I'm frozen.
Good.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
yes. No, you're coming through.
You're coming through.
I might.
You're not frozen. No.
That little icon on the lower left-hand side is on both our screens now, but not Frank's.
Right. Okay.
That's a visible
So Pastor Bob just finishes up his children's sermon, and it looks like Frankie is distracted and is picking her nose. So we want to get her off the screen and just have Michael do the wrap up of the children's moment, just looking at him. So you want to remove, oh, you're so good, Frank. Look at that. You just removed little Frankie who was picking her nose. Okay, excellent.
But Bob is picking his ear. I can't. You want to get rid of him too? No, kidding.
Okay, so complicated things. Okay, so we are about to go to the pastoral prayer. And so Pastor Bob is introducing the pastoral prayer, and he says, you know, I want to open it up so that we can pray for the things that you want to pray for. Whoever's in charge, Michael will usually say, Shannon will unmute you, or you can unmute yourselves. But what you want to do is you want to go in and view this in gallery mode, and you want everybody else to be able to view it in gallery mode. How do you do that?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to remove the spotlight.
Okay, so I got Pastor Bob. I'll go to more, and I'll say remove spotlight. Here it goes.
Done.
All right. Now on your screen, it is going to record what is on your screen as the host. So you will want to make sure you're in gallery mode at that point. So do you see everybody on your screen, or is it a speaker view? So speaker view is when whoever's talking is spotlit, and gallery mode is when everybody is visible regardless of who's speaking.
On my screen, I have the four of us at the top, but you are spotlit.
Okay, so I'm larger than everybody else?
Yeah, you're 3/4 of the screen.
Okay, so that is called active speaker. And so when I can't remember where it is in the PC, it's in the iPad, it's in the upper left. There's a little button that says switch to gallery view.
Okay, I've got, hang on a second. Let me move my thing around the recording.
Bob, do you see gallery view on your?
Yes,
on your?
yes. Up
Okay.
the upper right-hand corner, it says view, and if you click on view, you have the option of speaker and gallery or full screen.
Upper right. There you
Oh,
go.
I see. I got view. Yep. Okay. Very good. I'll click that. And then we're going to go gallery.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you should be able to see all four squares on your equal size.
Yes.
Okay. So now Pastor Bob is going to do pastoral prayers for everybody. And here's the thing that he also says. If you don't want to raise your hand and say it out loud, you can also chat. Oh, now we're going to learn chat. So I have to learn how to do this on this tiny little screen. Where is my chat feature? Chat. Okay. So I say, pray for my mom. Send. All right. So I believe I sent that to everybody. So down at the very bottom of your screen, there's a little button that says chat. And it
Yes.
should now have a little red number 1 on it. Do you
It
see
does.
Okay. So click on that.
Okay.
And then underneath your participant list now should show a chat list.
I see it on the right-hand side. Pray for my mom.
Yep. So as the pastor will be looking for these, chats. So Michael will automatically be reading these, so you don't have to worry too much about them. But sometimes people type things in the chat that is for the AV person. I can't think of anything right now, but like maybe it's one of the musicians and they're like, I'm struggling with my mic right now. They can actually do a direct chat just to you. So I did one to everyone. So what I'd like you to do is just understanding the chat feature. What I'd like you to do, Bob, is I want you to send a private message to Frank. And Frank, I want you to send a private message to Bob. And so when you see that your panel, you have the participants at the top and you have your chat at the bottom. And then in the little box at the very bottom, it'll say, everyone. And if you click that everyone, it'll give you the list of everybody that's on the list. You can select particular people and just send a chat to them.
Okay.
You found that?
Oh,
What?
So does everybody have the chat window open? And you saw my pray for
Yeah.
my mom? Okay. So underneath the pray for my mom, you'll see a place where you could write your own chat.
right.
How do you send it?
I send one to Frank.
Oh, okay. So Frank, did you receive Bob's?
Yes. Bob, did you receive mine?
1 second. Let me.
Do I have to push a send button after I
Try enter.
Carrot's turn.
try enter? Okay.
Oh, that's good. I got you, Frank.
Oh, before.
Yeah.
Let me try another one again. Okay.
All right.
you-
Why don't you both send me a message now, privately?
Do you see something from me now, Bob? I put Robert, but I didn't push enter yet.
No, you have to push enter before it goes.
Okay.
I got it now. Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, let's go to Shannon. Okay. What do we got here? Whoops, wrong. How do I?
Pastor Bob to Shannon. All right. Nicely done.
How did I get my list of participants again?
There's an arrow on the 2 line.
Oh, under the Deb. Now I see it. Okay.
Where?
This is who you can send it to. Although you might be able to do this.
Well, he was asking how he gets that list again.
And
I just sent hi, Shannon.
wonderful. All right. You should have gotten my hi back again.
That's private. You don't see that.
Well, right.
Yeah. So you guys can send a message to everyone. So what I would like you to do is send a message to everyone and say, please type your prayer requests into chat.
Everyone
you-
in meeting, okay?
Yep, everyone, feel free to type your prayer requests into the chat. Sometimes I'll even put that, I'll type that out in advance, during a long song or something, where I can focus a little more and there's not as many transitions. And I'll type that in so I don't have to do it right, because I don't type very fast. So it just makes it a little easier. And I'll usually wait maybe 5 minutes, at least 5 or 10 minutes into the service. Prayers of the people is usually near the end. So I'll type something in, don't forget, you can type your prayer requests into the chat. Not all of the services have a prayer for the people. Usually if Michael's doing communion, he cuts prayers for the people. He'll do a prayer, like a pastoral prayer, but because the prayers of the people take a long time, it makes the service run really long. But of course, this last week, he threw a curveball at me and he said, hey, since we made good time, let's do prayers of the people. And as soon as he said prayers of the people, I knew, even though it wasn't on my list, I got to put it in gallery mode. You got to remove the spotlight, put it in gallery mode. But as I said, he's really good about giving those cues, so you know exactly what you need to do. But just to be aware that sometimes on communion services, we don't open it up to gallery mode to do the full prayers. Michael will just do a pastoral prayer. All right, so we just we got to that point where there are no more. You can see, because you've been following along in the chat, that Pastor Bob just finished praying for all the prayers in the chat feature. You see that nobody's raising their hand to add another one. And Pastor Bob says, okay, I think I got all the prayers. And then he does a wrap-up prayer, in which case, at that point, I will go through and mute everybody again. And this you have to do one at a time. And do you know why you have to do it one at a time? Who do you mute if you mute all?
Oh, yeah, the pastor.
Yes, exactly. So you can't use that mute all button. You have to sit there and now go mute, 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 mute all the way down the line. Now,
Wow.
the lucky thing is most people don't unmute themselves because they don't have a prayer. So it's usually, it sounds like a lot of people, but it's usually about 8 or 9 people that, will need to be muted. So it's not too terrible. And remember, all the people who have unmuted automatically go up to the top of the list because of how Zoom puts your participant list in order. So you won't find them at the end of the list. But you should, once you mute everybody, scroll all the way through your participant list and make sure, because the people who called in on the phone, those people will need to be muted also. And the phone people are always below the Zoom people. So you may have the people up at the top that are all unmuted, and then you scroll down to the bottom and see if there's any phone people that are unmuted. So basically just go up and down the whole list, make sure everybody's muted.
Got it.
So everybody's muted, and you want to spotlight Pastor Bob again, because he's really doing a great job with his prayer. And just making everybody feel that all of their prayers are getting covered. And Frank is going to do that for us.
Oh, wait a minute. So, do I have to put remove?
Nobody's spotlit right now.
Yeah, but when I go to you and more. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. And I'm going to you, Shannon, and it says,
No, you want to go to Bob,
okay, let's go to Bob more.
because it's Pastor Bob doing this great
stop.
job.
Right, stop video, spotlight for everyone.
Spotlight for everyone.
Oh, okay, already.
Yep. It's like replace Spotlight, except there's nobody's spotlit. So you it's just a straight spotlight. So it's spotlight for everybody if nobody's already spotlight lit. Now if you so Pastor Bob just finished that beautiful prayer. Amen, he says. And the next person up is Shannon and the musician. And so Pastor Bob says, now we go to sing hymn number 567. We really love the Zoom. And so at that point you need to, yay! All right, nicely done. Yeah. I'm trying to think of complicated things for you, but I think you've got the most complicated.
Multiple spotlights?
Yeah, we've done multiple spotlights.
All right.
I was Frankie.
All right.
Michael's chipping in with
Oh, do they know how to play YouTube clip for everybody?
no, not yet. Okay, but that's a good one. The share feature. So I don't know if you have anything else open on your screen, Frank, that you could share with us. But if you go to the bottom of the screen and hit the share button.
Let's see. Get my glasses on here. Whoops, hang on there. Share. Oh, yeah. Hang on a second. Yep. Let me do that. I opened that up.
Okay.
So if I want to share something, I can go like that.
Yep. Churning
Okay.
away for us. I don't know what you're sharing yet. It's thinking about it.
Oh, really?
There we go. Oh, I got it. You've got Microsoft Bing up, and I can see that you are looking at Spain and Morocco.
Okay.
All right. So when you are sharing slides, that's the feature you're going to use. So if you have, do you have your email access on this computer?
Yes.
Do you have PowerPoint on your computer?
I don't know. I've never used it.
If you go to your email, I just sent you the PowerPoint for, I don't know, a week ago. Or
Hang on a second here. So I have to go up in my email.
If you would like to unshare before you put in a password, you can do that.
Okay. How do I unshare?
Oh, unshare at the top of the screen. There's a
I say stop share.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me go over here and open, if I can do this.
Let me see.
I'm going to open my browser to open my email, I guess, right?
Yep.
Critically low. Well, that's probably because
and since you stopped sharing, we don't see it anymore. If you wanted to share that whole process of opening your email with us, you could have done that. I just thought if you're logging in, you probably don't want to show us your password.
You betcha. My email wouldn't matter. The bank account, that'd be different. But anyway, let's go see what's happening. It's
well, all of your bank accounts are linked to your email most likely. So your email is actually your most important asset as far as keeping it safe. Because if someone has your email login, they can actually reset all of your passwords.
Oh, wow, gee.
Yep.
Okay, so let me go Outlook, and I'm waiting for my Outlook to come up. Oh, it's working real hard.
Oh, yeah, it's
Come
hard. My
on.
computer's really old too. And this is one of the reasons I boot my computer up really early in the morning, because sometimes it can get stalled on opening PowerPoint or, so you never want to be in a situation where 1 minute before you're supposed to go on, you're booting up something. So, my computer is definitely on its last year, I think. Its last little bolts.
Well, this one, it's just, is gone into super slow mode. So
Okay.
I'll just maybe bypass that for the time being. It's not going
Yeah,
to do
I
it.
think
Uh,
what
Now I
we'll
want to
do
get back.
is I'm going to give you guys both homework. You've got two things to do is for this weekend, you're going to print the bulletin. And this is the one I gave you earlier is I want you to write throughout the bulletin, what are the exact steps that you will have to take to transition from one piece of the one section to the other. So if it says John, you say, replace spotlight to John, and you just write all the things that you have to press. If you're going into the children's moment, you're going to say add spotlight, of any kids. If it's the prayers of the people, you're going to remove spotlight and unmute people, or ask to unmute people on the list.
Yeah. Once again, if this is Sunday morning, and Bob and I are logging in to this, we're going to go to our Zoom apps. We're going to put in these. We have to be coming on as ourselves, or we have to be coming on as Michael?
It depends on what you're doing that day. So if you are my backup, like I'm worried about my internet. My internet's been in and out. It's giving me problems today. So it will probably be really good this weekend for this Sunday is to have one of you offer to be the backup. So I'll make you co-host. I will still be on. I will do everything this weekend. So you don't have to be ready for that. But in case my internet goes out, we're not completely stopped. And so what that will do is allow you to go through and spotlight the different people. You won't be able to do the slides, but that's okay. We've gone without slides before. And you can spotlight who's supposed to be on. If I'm not here at all, Michael and I take a long weekend and we take off and we're having a great time. You guys are in charge. That means you're going to be logging in as Pastor Michael. You're logging in to your Zoom account. So you got to log out of whatever your account is on Zoom and log in as Pastor Michael. And that's the one that has Pastor Michael. What's the email? I think I gave it to you earlier.
At RowaytonUMC.org.
That's my main email.
Yeah, it's not case sensitive, so you don't have to worry about that. The password is case sensitive, though.
RUMC 06853. Right.
Yeah, Pastor Michael at RowaytonUMC.org.
Right.
And we
And
got
then
the password.
And the password, capital R, little UMC, and the zip code.
Right.
Now, this Sunday, Shannon, would it mess anything up if you had Bob and as a co-host and also myself?
I don't know.
Just so I
mostly
could
because
watch?
I was just playing with that, and it was doing weird things on my
Okay.
iPad. So
All
I
right.
probably want to test that before doing it live.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd be more comfortable with just one of you were the
We'll have
co-host.
Bob.
Okay.
I can be there. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Awesome. And I will, I'm hoping it won't mess it up because Michael and I both log in as Pastor Michael. And I just changed my visible name to be Shannon. I think we'll be okay making you co-host, but if for any reason it starts messing up, I may remove your co-host authority. Okay, Bob?
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
In
And
fact-
I'll send you a chat if I have to do that.
Oh, sure. Well, I'll see it anyway, right?
Yeah, you might see a little note that says you're no longer co-host.
Well,
Wonder what the
I'll see you-
value might, wonder what the value might be during all of that to have a side link on telephone.
Yeah, I was thinking that also.
Mhm. I sometimes, you mean like a hotspot or?
No, I mean, just to be talking on the phone to say, hey,
Mhm.
you know, Bob, do this, or Frank, do this, or something like that.
Yes. And I'm not sure I have your cell numbers. I think in my email, I gave you my number. If you want to just send me a text.
Sure.
And that's always good. I have Michael on text as well, because we're in completely different rooms normally. And so I'll sometimes text to him. That helps when my internet goes completely down. Then, because I can't send you a chat through Zoom if my internet's not working, or I'm freezing up a lot. So then I can just shoot you a text and just say, you know, having a hard time, please take over.
Okay, good. Yeah, maybe we could even have a three-way conversation on phone this Sunday while you're working, although that'll put a big burden on you since you're time sharing between your active tasks and the passive telephone tasks.
Right.
We could certainly do it during the setup, you know, it might,
Yeah.
you know, might be good to see.
Yeah, I will probably, especially since I'm having internet problems right now, I will definitely be logging in at 9 on Sunday and just making sure it's working. So if you want to have a quick login at 9.
We could do a conference call, right? Three party?
You would just go in. Oh, you mean on the phone?
Yeah.
Well, I think you could just join the Zoom as a participant.
Yeah.
Just go to the worship service link.
All right.
Oh, then we can just talk there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just
we'll,
like,
Okay,
we'll log in at 9 as well, and we can go over any incidentals. and
yeah.
Maybe even
Yeah.
do a homework session there. You said you had 2 homework items. One was
The bulletin.
print the
and write
bulletin
steps.
and write down the transitions. What was the second homework assignment?
thank you. I was trying to get back to that. The second one is to see if you have PowerPoint. So open the email that I sent you and open the PowerPoint and see if you can open those slides.
Okay, I did get your both those transmissions, and I opened the PowerPoint one in my PowerPoint, and it does come up.
Oh,
So-
excellent. Oh, well, then I'm going to make you co-host. Frank, I'm going to remove withdraw co-host permission. It sounds so official. Make assign co-host. Yes. Okay. So since Bob, you have the slides. Okay. So what I want you to do is just share or open that PowerPoint. If you did, I don't know if you left it open.
Did. Let me see.
Okay, then what I want you to do, I'm going to have you share it 2 different ways. The first is just to share what you have now.
Let me
So it shares at the very bottom middle of your page.
Okay, no, I know that. I'm just bringing up the PowerPoint, but okay. I've got
Okay.
it. Let's see, PowerPoint. Here it is. Okay. So here is the slide. And I'm going to share it. Okay, you should be up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just my side, but it's still loading. Okay, very good. Perfect.
There it is. Yep.
So now what we see on your screen, Bob, it probably has a big green line around it. We see everything in that green line.
Oh, so you want me to restrict that somewhat?
No, but you see, well, kind of, do you see the slideshow button?
Yes.
And,
yeah.
okay, so click the slideshow button. No, to the, not there, up the top in the gray bar where it says File, Home, Insert, Design, Transitions, Animations, and then Slideshow in the gray.
That's
Yeah,
right.
there you go. So click that
Okay.
and then do From Beginning all the way to the left.
I see it. I see it from beginning. Got it.
Okay, so the problem is you have screen shared your PowerPoint and you have not screen shared the slideshow. So you always want to be able to screen share your slideshow, not the PowerPoint, because see how you have all this, it's kind of messy. It's got all these instructions around it. You've got the pages on the left. You just want the actual page, the slideshow showing.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to stop sharing.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how to do this in advance. Now you're going to go to share again, except this time you should have two options. You should have the PowerPoint in its sort of just the PowerPoint, and then you should have the slideshow.
I do.
Okay, so now share the slideshow. And let's see how that looks.
Okay, I'm sharing the slideshow.
All right, nice and clean. All right, Frank, you see the difference?
Yes,
Okay, so you are going to want to set this up before you start. So this is where I was telling you how to toggle between things, because when you first set your computer up and you want to put your PowerPoint into slideshow mode, you don't want to do that in front of everybody. You don't want to wait until you're sharing a slide and then switch to slideshow and then have to unshare and then have to reshare. So you got to do that all before church starts. So separate, like you basically go into your PowerPoint. You get out of, you shouldn't have to log out of Zoom. You just have to minimize Zoom, and you go into PowerPoint and you hit that slideshow button. And what that's going to do is it's going to open the slideshow on your full screen.
Gotcha.
And then you're going to say, how do I get back to Zoom? Because the only way to get back to Zoom normally is to hit escape, which stops your slideshow. You don't want to stop your slideshow. You want your slideshow to be there the whole time.
Right.
So you want to hit that Alt tab or the Windows tab button. And then that will allow you to scroll back to Zoom. So what I'm going to have you do is stop share.
Okay, let me get back to Zoom. Stop share.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Okay. So normally what I do is I usually have Zoom running when I go into the PowerPoint slideshow. So can you minimize, Bob, the Zoom screen and go into your PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. And then what I'd like you to do is go to your slideshow through PowerPoint.
Okay.
And I want it to open the whole screen. You see how it opens the slideshow goes to the whole screen?
All right, I'm trying.
You may still have your slideshow going, so you may have to exit out of your slideshow and start from the beginning.
Okay, I've got the PowerPoint up here.
Okay, so the PowerPoint is up. You know that, remember the slideshow button at the top in gray?
Right.
And then it says start at the beginning.
From the beginning. Okay, done.
Okay, now is it taking up your whole screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't see Zoom at all, right?
Well, you're in a little picture at the upper right-hand side, but other than
Oh, it disappears completely on my computer.
that.
Okay, well, that's fortunate, because I suppose you could go back that way, but let's just do it my way just in case, so you know how to toggle between your apps. So either using, I think on your computer you said it was Alt tab.
Right. Okay, where do you want to go? Back to Zoom?
Back to Zoom.
All right, I'm in Zoom.
Okay, so what you did is you went in and you made sure that your PowerPoint was in slideshow mode. So when you go into share now, so when you go to share screen, you've got both options. You've got PowerPoint, or you could do the PowerPoint slideshow. And what
Right.
you want is the slideshow.
Gotcha.
And that's nice and clean.
Okay, so prepare in advance, essentially.
You got it.
Gotcha.
And Okay, so I want you to go to the slideshow, because scrolling through the pages is a little different on every computer.
Okay, here we are.
Okay, so on my computer, I have a mouse with a rolly ball on it. And so I will just scroll using the roll on my mouse to the next page. Other people use the up and down button on their keyboard.
Okay.
That doesn't, for some reason, work for me. So I always use my mouse.
All right, well,
What I'd like, try to go to the next page of your slide.
I'm gonna try the page down. That doesn't seem to work.
Okay, does your mouse have oh, there we go. You just moved.
Oh, I see it. Okay, let me go
What'd you
back
do?
up to the first one. Okay, good. So the up-down screen button works. I have a finger pad mouse, so I don't have a, scroll bar thing. All right. So
Okay.
I can scroll. That's the second page.
Mhm.
And this obviously is as a
Prayer.
function of the PowerPoint setup,
Yes,
the pages, yes. And then
exactly.
the third and the fourth and back and forth. Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, so this is a great example because this is one of the ones that I changed. So this is a song, one of the hymns, While Shepherds Watch Their Flocks. I
Right.
actually, when I got this slide, I said, ooh, that's going to be hard for me because sometimes there's verses you go back to, and I didn't know what was, so it basically is on two different pages. And so I thought that was going to be really hard to go back and forth if there was a verse that needed to be sung.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to be going up and down. So I actually cut and pasted all onto one page, and it actually also didn't match the bulletin. So I had to check with Michael real quick, and he said that it had an extra verse that wasn't really going to be sung. So I removed that one and I got it all on one page because that was going to help me manage, flipping the pages during a song could be very tedious because sometimes it's hard to tell where you are in the song, especially if it goes back to the main refrain. So I like it all on one screen if I can. Sometimes it's a long song, and in that case, I just make sure the refrain is on both screens, so you don't have to scroll back and forth.
You need to
Okay.
You need to talk to Zoom and see if you can ask them to add a bouncing ball utility.
There you go. That would be awesome. And that has sometimes been a problem for me is seeing where we are. If someone, for example, at this point sends me like a quick chat and I have to go quick look to see what the chat was, and I go back to this real quick thinking I have plenty of time, but I cannot for the life of me figure out where we are. And then I'm like, well, maybe we're on the next page. And then I scroll to the next page and then I go back to this page. And that's usually, something's happened like that. If you see it bouncing between pages, it's me trying to figure out where the heck we are.
Right. It's common occurrence. If you play music and you fall asleep, and you forget where you're supposed to come in, that happens.
Yep. So let's go to the next slide and then the slide after that one. Okay, the Lord's Prayer. Most people know the Lord's Prayer. So if there's some kind of weird, like it's going to be really cumbersome going to the Lord's Prayer, I may not do a slide share on that one. But if it's flowing nicely and Michael introduces it nicely, so he says, we're going to do the Lord's Prayer now. I'd like to ask all of you to follow along. I'll go, okay, that's plenty of time. And I'll do a slide share on that one. I can't remember what's after in the bulletin, but let's go to the next slide and see what the next slide is. Okay, scripture reading. So there's something in between there. I just can't remember. But I think there is something it's a little more complicated. Pardon?
Prayer of illumination, maybe?
Okay, so maybe it's because I know I'm going to have to go to Michael, who's going to then introduce the liturgist. And it's kind of like a fast, going from a slide, stop share slide, share Michael, then share the liturgist. It's just a lot of steps. So that's why I sometimes will skip sharing the Lord's Prayer on a slide.
Okay.
It's just, I kind of make some decisions on the fly there. So for the scripture reading, this is probably a somewhat difficult transition, but it's really, when you think about the fact that most people don't need to read the slide right away, your liturgist is going to be reading. Your liturgist should have a printout. They shouldn't have to wait for you to put it up on the screen. I like everybody to have a printout and not rely on a slide. So usually they've already got their reading in front of them. So let's unshare.
Okay. Unshared.
Okay. So let's say I'm your liturgist and Pastor Frank just introduced me, and he says, Shannon's going to do today's reading. And I pull out my reading. I say, today's reading is Hebrews, blah, blah, blah. You can have me spotlight. Am I spotlight? Yeah, I'm spotlight. You can have me spotlight first. And then as I'm introducing the scripture, go to the scripture. So there's no rush getting that slide up.
Okay.
So I usually will start with the liturgist space so people can see the liturgist as they introduce it. Okay, so go ahead and slide share. So I'm the liturgist. I've just started reading. It's Hebrews chapter 5, verses 1 through 3. Okay, it's Luke, whatever. And then I'll start reading. And then and you're following along, and I get to, would not see death before he had seen the Lord's Messiah. And you flip to the next page. So the scripture reading is almost always on multiple pages. So whatever you push to go to the next page, there we go. And I finish that page and I go to the next page. This is a longer reader. Aha. So there's your thanks be to God. So we know that this scripture passage is done. Now, when I get the slides in the very beginning, I always write in my bulletin where the slides go. So at this point, I would know whether I'm stopping my slides or if I'm going to the next slide. And but we're going to go to the next slide because I don't have a bulletin in front of me, and let's just see what's next. Usually it's the sermon after the reading. So this modern covenant prayer we did after later in the service. So we're going to go ahead and do a stop share.
Okay.
So the scripture was just read. And now notice that you had spotlit me. I'm the liturgist, but now you have to go to Pastor Frank. Pastor Frank is now going to give the sermon.
I'll do a replace spotlight.
Yes.
Pastor Frank is up.
And then Pastor Frank gives us a lovely sermon. I've moved to tears. It was awesome.
Wonderful.
So they're going back between the slides, the pastor, the liturgist, the music. It takes a little getting used to. But one thing I always kept in mind is when I'm looking at the transitions on the paper, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. But when I'm actually doing it, I realize that there's so much time, the sermon alone, it's got this little line and I'm like, there's so much things I have to do in this little section of the bulletin. And then I realized the sermon's going to be 10 minutes. So you got 10 minutes to think about that next step. It's a little easier than it is in the practice, I guess is what I'm saying. Because practice, you're just doing the transitions right on top of another. All right, well, we've been practicing for a while now, so I think this is probably a really good part 1. And we should set up a part 2, maybe sometime next week. You want to do it next Friday? We can make Fridays our practice days.
Sure.
I'm usually
Sounds good.
Good. Good for me.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Let me just pull up my calendar. So that would be the 15th. You want to do the same time, 10 o'clock?
Sure.
Good for me.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we'll see you at about 9 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Yes. All right. So practice.
For both of us.
Frank,
I'll be there.
Okay.
okay. So we'll do a mini I don't know, a host along on Sunday. So Bob, you will be a co-host, and unless I have to remove the co-host because Michael and I are both be on as Michael. And then you can kind of follow along and see the different steps. Hopefully I'll have my internet back by then. If not, it'll be a crash course for you, Bob. If that's the case, what I would do is I would recommend that you make Frank your co-host. So if I'm completely booted off, then I would make Frank your co-host, and the two of you can kind of help navigate as you go. If that emergency happens, do not worry about doing slides. Just do transitions for people. And we don't need the slides. Those are extra.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay.
Can I pull the slides down from Michael's email transition for the next service for Sunday?
Yeah, I don't usually get them sometimes until Sunday morning.
Oh, okay.
So I can send them. I'll see if Michael can have those done by Sunday night. But they do come kind of last minute because there's sometimes last minute changes to the order of service and things. So they're sort of like the last thing that gets done.
Okay, well, don't do anything extraordinary, but I will add to my prayer list the fact that the internet should not go down on Sunday.
Please. And I'm back up and running. We have two different we have an extender that goes to the rest of the house, and then there's this part of the house. And so this part of the house seems to be working, but the extender is not working. And for some reason, my computer only sees the extender. So who knows? I'm going to problem solve that the rest of today.
I think there's some clerical irony to that whole situation.
Yes, there's irony in life every day.
Right. True. Great. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much.
going through this session. We have Frank and myself, and Debbie is here
The
recording
scribe.
all this stuff and telling me
4
what I
pages
should
of
not
notes.
do.
Oh, that's
What I should
awesome,
not do.
Debbie.
So,
And Debbie, I would love, if you wanted to type those up and share them, I think that would be so helpful to have that for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll put together a composite list. There may be some errors in it initially, but with time we'll correct it so that it's reasonable. And then, of course, Zoom will always change their functionality, so it'll continuously be upgraded.
Yes, exactly. I can't believe the changes they've made just in the last year. I mean, the ad spotlight I discovered during a children's moment, because I was trying to decide who to spotlight, if I should spotlight Frankie or spotlight Michael. And I went in and I said, but it gave me an additional thought. It's like ad spotlight. I was like, what does that do? So I clicked it. So I don't normally click new things during service, but I did that day. And I was like, yes, this is so cool. And it only allowed you to add spotlight. There you go. One person. So, two people at a time. And now in the last couple of weeks, they allowed you to spotlight multiple. I don't even know if they put a limit on it now. So
I just spotlighted Frank and myself, so there's 3 of us that are spotlighted now.
Yes. Very good. And sometimes we have multiple kids now. So for the children's moment, it could be any number of kids. I think that's the hardest part, is a lot of the parents with young kids turn their video off because the kids are running around and they don't necessarily want to show that the kids are running around. Pardon, Deb?
They're being children.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with it. But, I think last weekend I spotlit, the little redhead kid. I can't remember his
Franklin?
Tommy, Frank. No, oh, Teddy. It was Teddy.
Oh,
And
oh,
and his
that's nice.
parents couldn't even, they were chasing him around the room. So I removed the spotlight because I was like, that's probably embarrassing for them. So I removed the spotlight because Teddy was just not interested, being, one. And so, and then I looked for the other Franklin. There was Frankie, and then there was Franklin, and they had their video off. So it ended up just being Frankie that I spotlit. So that's a little bit tricky. If sometimes if I know that the kids are gonna be on, I'll put a little 2 next to their name. So I have all the musicians, I have a 1 and then their name. But if it's their kid, I'll sometimes put a 2 and their name, and that way they're a little easier to find for the children's moment. But
Oh, good idea.
yeah, there's no guarantee that they'll have their camera on or want to be spotlit. But sometimes, like Franklin's mom will, she'll turn her video on just for the children's moment, and then I know that it's okay to spotlight her.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah.
Good, great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you again.
Thank you again,
We'll
Shannon.
see you Sunday morning and then next
Uh,
Friday. Sure.
All right. See you Sunday at 9, guys and
Okay,
ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
All right.
you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Before you get out of the internet.